Hello everyone, and welcome to yet another Neon Genesis video. I'm your host, the Bradster Mouse, and today we will be covering Gene Airo and his backstory. Now I do want to alarm you guys that this is a little bit of a dark story. Not too dark, but you know, just a little edgy, but we'll get into it. I hope you guys enjoy this though, and yeah, if nothing else is to be said, let's begin. Gene Airo was born via surrogate parent to a couple, known as Diesel and Calvi. Calvi being of royal descent, being the princess of the planet, and Diesel being an ex-member of an old bike gang she used to run with. The two got together to raise a child, but could not reproduce to make one. So they had a surrogate parent birth Gene. As Gene was raised, at around the age of 3 years old, Diesel started to notice that Calvi's strict and rough parenting was starting to take a toll on Gene as a whole, making him more afraid of everything, making him more paranoid, making him more, let's just say, anxious. When confronted, Calvi tells Diesel that it's all merely prepping him for the future, making him more strong-willed and, let's just say, more resilient to the world around him. While Diesel disagreed, and this led to a big argument, the two decided that they'd share shifts in raising their child. At around 7 years old, Gene would begin school time. At first he found it relatively easy, and he was often considered a very intelligent child. However, because of this, he was often the victim of bullies who would often rob him and mock at the fact that he had lesbian parents. You know, the usual kind of bully type insults and whatnot you'd experience in school. However, normally when you consider bullying, you see that it starts to wear off after a while. However, that was not the case for Gene. However, things started to look up for Gene, as around 2 years later he befriended a small animal that was considered a dog of the planet. Every time he walked home from school, he would often give the animal food and pets and whatnot. However, after about a year or so of doing this, the dog decided to ask for more food. However, Gene had no money as it was stolen from the bullies, and mass especially. To Gene's surprise, the animal was extremely aggravated. It's possible that the animal felt betrayed and suddenly attacked Gene. Gene, in self-defense, strangled the animal to death and was terrified. He cried and cried and ran home. He couldn't believe what his arms did. What he just did, he took away a life way before its time. Any attempts Diesel made to comfort Gene, Calvi intervened and made sure Gene was made to endure the emotional suffering that came of his actions. Consequently, this made Gene even worse than he was before. At a young age, as a teenager mind you, he decided to sniff around his mother's old gang, the one that she left before, Diesel specifically. His main reason for joining the gang was to sniff around, see what his mother was like before she left the gang, and possibly make some allies to deal with the constant bullying and fighting that he was still enduring. He was also short on cash at the time because none of his mothers gave him pocket money, and even if Diesel gave him any, it was likely taken away either by bullies or by Calvi because, quote, he doesn't deserve it yet. Although Gene was successful in joining the gang, it wasn't long after doing multiple crimes in order to earn income for the gang that he was suddenly knocked out and left in the water with cement boots. Barely escaping with his life, Gene swam to shore and was left astounded. Neither of his mothers came to his aid, not even Diesel, the person he trusted the most out of everyone, seemingly left him for dead. He sat there on the shore for quite a while, wondering exactly what had transpired. He was betrayed by Diesel's old gang, in the name of Diesel leaving them as revenge, and neither of his mothers showed up to help him, even when he was very close to death. The insanity was slowly descending at an incredibly slow rate, but little did he know that it would only get worse from here. Finally, after graduating school, Gene decided to get a job at a local library, deciding that a fresh start might clear up his mental attitude a bit, make him a bit happier in life. And that's when he met his co-worker, Cryos. And little do you know that this would end up being his very first love interest. After a few dates and getting to know each other, the two very madly fell in love and were very close to each other. The two even got an apartment together. The two even got a pet together. They were living together. Just as all was starting to seem bright and happy, Gene started to endure what he assumed was Cryos' true side. He endured angry shouting, verbal abuse, physical abuse, bruises everywhere, whips, cuts, even stab wounds. Just as Cryos was just about to finish him off for disappointing her for the last time, not getting enough money from his small minimum wage job, she gripped the pipe in her hand, went to swing, and as the pipe was about to make contact with Gene's head, something in his head snapped and he started strangling her to death, in a similar fashion that he killed his very first animal. After the life was gone from Cryos' eyes, his mental state had finally deteriorated. Gene Airo was no longer the innocent victim of bullying no longer. Gene Airo was a force to be reckoned with. Looking for something to blame for why everything went wrong. Looking for someone to pin all of the crimes he has committed so far. In his mental breakdown, he pins one person only. Recalling to the time where he wasn't saved by Diesel or Calvin, and how Diesel's attempts to help him were practically useless at this stage. He blames Diesel. Diesel was responsible for everything going wrong in his eyes. When he returns home to attempt to take her life, Calvi even assisting him at this point, betraying Diesel. Diesel manages to give Calvi and Gene the slip and evade their attempt at murdering her. Calvi, being as proud as ever of Gene, continued to hunt for Diesel together with him. As Diesel was pinned against a corner, Calvi slowly approaching, Gene landing behind Calvi distracted her, and Diesel managed to throw rocks in Calvi's eyes and give her the slip once more. Gene, furious at Calvi's incompetence, breaks Calvi's skull in half, murdering one of his mothers as he further descends into insanity. Many years would pass as Gene attempted to hunt down the last mother he ever had, the one mother that truly cared for him. But he couldn't see that. His insanity reached levels that were beyond reasoning with. Tired of running, Diesel manages to find an escape pod, which he uses to leave the planet as they were in short supply thanks to a lethal virus that was spreading rapidly throughout the planet. Gene decided to follow suit, but with a different idea in mind. A nearby military base was testing projects and prototypes of ships they could use in wars across the galaxy. Gene politely takes the ship and launches into space with it. There were no survivors at the military base, except for him. Gazing around the massive compartments and all of the technology available in the prototype ship, he decided to form his very own army. And this would echo throughout the galaxy as the birth of the Airo Armada, his very own army of chaos. As their first step of proving their dominance, the Airo Armada invade a small planet, almost easily winning the battles and recruiting any useful survivors before murdering the useless. Once they were satisfied and took everything they wanted or needed, they would leave the planet. Word of this gathered around the entire galaxy within minutes, thanks to a distress signal of course. And the only name they had to hear about this threat was the Airo Armada. This would be the very first time that the Airo Armada would gain traction. However, this would not be the last. Planet after planet, galaxy after galaxy, universe after universe, the fearless and powerful army travelled throughout the galaxy, throughout the universe, recruiting and even murdering some people. All the while with a fearsome man in a white and black suit, grinning and psychotically as he plots to get rid of the one thorn in his side before he dedicates his entire life to his cause. Diesel. Hope you guys did enjoy this this OC lore video. I'm sorry if it was a bit wonky. This is a little bit of a new thing for me. I did try and present it in the best way I could. I'm sorry if it's a little bit imperfect again, but again, this is our first video. The next video is going to be a what if, so I might have a bit of an easier time explaining those, considering I have a lot of ideas for those. However, if you are new here, be sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and comment what you thought. Did you like this story? Was it too edgy for you? Probably was. But either way, I'm very grateful you watched this video. Be sure to follow the Twitter, I'll leave that in the description, and also join the Discord server. It's open for community members, and we're actually looking for one more OC member. That might be you. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.